That one?
Just a moment here. Let me get this. There we go.
That one?
Okay, back over here. Okay. Yeah, so we're on number 16, and I'm going to pull up. Where are we? Come up. Okay. So can you see the exercises there that I just put up?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Hopefully they're big enough to read. I probably could have increased the size on that a little bit, but so okay, yeah. Why don't you do number 16?
Okay. Oi mathetai tu kuriu agusin ta tekna auton ice tain basilean auto. And it's in a, I like to just break down the words. So the disciples, so of the Lord, I put it in a genitive, made sense to me. They lead the children there into kingdom this or his kingdom. So the disciples of the Lord are leading their children into his kingdom.
Okay.
And so parse agusin.
The only difference I did was I just did the Lord's disciples, but the disciples of the Lord either way. We're still saying the same.
Oh yeah.
Just
Okay.
It's an alternative. Okay,
Sure.
go ahead.
Agusin, parse it, dissect it, parts of speech. It's a verb, it's a present tense, active, indicative. And the augment, I just reading forward, I saw a aorist active indicative third person would be the eta gamma. So agagon.
Yeah, if we had an augment, but we don't actually have one in this case. So yeah.
Right.
Right.
And found an example of that actually on Luke 4:29, which is cool. Third person, plural, lexical form ago, stem ag, ending is usin, connecting vowel, omicron, and subject is the disciples.
Okay.
What is the antecedent of auton? What about autu? How can you be sure? And okay, so the antecedent of auton, disciples, and autu's Lord. And how can I be sure? Well, auton, like I said, I have it as a gender plural, and autu is a gender singular. So disciples was the plural, and Lord is a singular.
Yes. So your antecedent to a pronoun always has to match
It has to match the case, well, and the at least the number, right?
match gender and number. It doesn't
Gender
have
number, right? Okay, gender number, correct.
it doesn't have to match case because it
Case, correct.
yeah. So in this case it doesn't, but gender and number, yeah. So you
Gender.
picked up on the number really well because the gender in both cases wouldn't have been dramatically different.
Okay.
Okay, good job. One for us, Peggy.
Esmen tekna the'u.
Okay. And ER, and what is a teknon? Child. So tekna is the plural, children, and the'u is of God. So we are God's children, or we are children of God. Tekna, part of speech. It is a noun. Case is nominative. Numbers plural. Its function in the sentence. It is a predicate nominative or predicate complement. Gender is neuter. And the lexical form is teknon, and the declension is second. So it's a second declension neuter noun. Is theou genitive or ablative in case? And I said it is genitive. We are not, there is a way that you could say we are the children from God, but it seems to be more normal to say we are God's children. We are not. We are the children of God.
Right, description.
Okay, Joe, number 18.
Okay. Autas, thepai, or therai, ta,
PH.
therai.
PH
Yeah.
sound.
Oh, that's the PH, right? Therai. That's correct. Therai. Bringing, to bring. Okay. Therai, ta, Dora, Mon kai ta, Dora, autu, pros, to, Heron. Okay. So himself, he carries or he brings or is bringing the gifts, and gifts his towards the temple. So I just put it here. He himself is bringing or carrying my gifts and his gifts to the temple.
Oh, and you did better than I did. I have he carries my gift and his gift. I missed that in both up above and down below. I have gift rather than gifts.
Gifts, right?
I was rushing through
It's
that.
plural, right?
You're correct. I was running too fast through that, not paying attention.
Okay. Are the two uses of Dora in the sense nominative plural neuter or accusative plural neuter? And I answered as accusative plural neuter. How can you be sure? And I put he in the verb is the subject.
Correct.
What is the significance of the case Dora in this sentence? It's the object of the action in plural.
Okay. It's always it's helpful to remember that the point of the object is to limit the
action.
Yeah, so he carries everything. No, he carries specifically the gift in this context. Very good. Keep going.
Is pros best translated in the senses for, at, or to / toward? And I answered it to toward. It makes sense to me in the accusative case of the adjective. Accusative use of the adjective, okay? That's what I said.
Very good. This is going well today. Okay. Try that. Ego is I. Smoother modern English, I am not the Christ. The Greek professor always used to say, I on my part, I am not the Christ. Because he always trying to bring emphasis to the fact that there was ego is being used. So we have a whole separate pronoun rather than just a pronoun that's part of the verb. So
Ook is like day. It's a post positive, right? So it would it ever be in the very beginning?
I'm just going to say I don't know off the top of my head. I don't think it ever does because I think it does function post positively, but I'm going to have to go back and look at that. I apologize.
That's okay.
I should know better.
Well, there's a lot to know.
Well, okay, so what is the subject of I, me? What is the subject? It's I. And what is designated as the subject, specified as the subject in that verse?
The pronoun ego.
Ego, okay. So not only is it I, which is part of the verb itself, but we actually have the separate pronoun.
Right. Probably for emphasis again.
That's right. So how can you be sure that, I think maybe what they're asking is this is a case where we have ha Christos that is not and it has a definite article with it. Normally that means that's a subject.
It's a complement, predicate complement or predicate nominative.
Why is ha Christos not the subject?
It's not the subject because IME, the to be verb or the state of being verb, requires a complement to complete the meaning of the subject, which in this case is I. So the complement has to be in the nominative.
Well, the complement has to be in the nominative. Subject of IME has to be I. Has to be I. You can't have a same.
So the complement completes that meaning of what I is.
That's right. That's right.
Because if we complement.
Because if we were to say Christ I am, that has a totally different connotation. That it doesn't make good English sense because I am. That's that you have to use the pronoun I in there. You can't substitute another noun in place of that. You could say Christ is, we could have est in, but not I me. Wouldn't work. Okay. Does that make sense? B. What is the significance of ook in this sentence?
I wrote ook is a particle that negates the word it usually precedes.
Okay. And in that case, that would be the verb. So it's the statement of I me. Exactly. Very good. And locate ha. Well, let's go through this one. What case is that?
Ha is nominative.
The number is
singular.
Keep going through those. Gender is
masculine.
Part of
definite article.
And the function in the sentence?
Well, it's the definite article, so I guess it indicates the complement in this case. I don't know.
It doesn't indicate. What it does is it specifies. So here the definite article is specificity.
Okay.
To Christos. So we might say the Christ, not another, would be one way to bring out
specifies.
The okay. Yes.
Good way.
And the lexical form is
ha.
Okay.
So the word would be specifies.
Yeah.
So in this case, when you translate, you would put the in there when you see that.
English Bibles do that. They don't just say, most of them say, I'm not the Christ. Specific on the Baptist being questioned. John's referencing a statement John the Baptist made.
Right.
So he's talking about so you get the fun one here.
I get it? Okay. Amen, amen, lego, humin, hati, ha, tan, lagan, mu, akuan, kai, pistenon, ekai, zoen. So, truly, truly, I say to you all, I have all in parentheses. Okay.
Good.
That, hati, the one hearing my word and believing has life. That's how I translate it. If would be life eternal.
Yeah. No, that was good. I like the one hearing. Sometimes you're going to find some of your English translations are going to take that. That's a partial phrase. The ha there goes with a kuon and with pistuon, the two participles, and they would translate it he who hears. He who hears. So they're going to add the indefinite pronoun who. So he who hears. But the one hearing, yeah, that's good.
Okay. The definite article ha is used substantively in this sentence. What is the significance of this use? I just put it as it's the article ha would be the subject, or will act as the subject, as the one, right? Because of the one hearing,
Right.
just as we talked about.
So when they say substantively, what part of speech word do we use substantively?
That would be the parts of speech that would be the direct object
No,
or
no.
the subject.
No, part of speech would be a function of a case. Your parts of speech are noun, verb, particle.
So this would be the noun then, right?
This is a noun. Okay, so it's
Right.
function as a noun, or as the way you translated a pronoun that stands there as a noun.
Right. So it's a pronoun. Okay.
So I put mine in there as my answer, exactly what you have, but I had noun / subject because it is functioning as the subject of those, but its function is a noun.
Okay. Okay, I see what you're saying. I see what
Whenever
you're
you see the word substantively, or we use that, we're talking about something that's functioning as a noun.
saying. Okay.
Okay. But you did fine. The answer was good.
Okay.
I just was trying to make sure we're all clear on.
On the technicality.
Yeah.
Right. What is the function of Zoane in this sentence? It's the that would be the object of the action. I have it as an accusative case.
Yes.
So it limits the action of believing, right? I think.
It limits the action of, what's the verb there?
Oh, has, I'm sorry.
Has, yes.
Has. That's right. Correct.
So again, it's not, he may have a lot of things in this context. The thing they're concerned with is having life.
Has life. There you go.
And then the last here, akuon and pistuon, which we have not learned this yet, but these are nominative, singular, masculine, present, active participles, which that's a lot of stuff. But the reason for that is present active participle is the verb side of it, but nominative, singular, masculine is that there's also, with a participle, there's also a kind of a noun. So a participle kind of bridges between substantives and verbals in that sense. Okay. Very good. Any other questions?
No.
Okay. So now let me change gears here for a minute and let's put this away and pull up our and that away. And I want, where is my, there we go. Okay, so we're gonna take a look. I'm gonna share this now. So we're gonna go through our vocabulary for lesson 10. So we'll get started on our lesson 10 vocabulary so that we can be working on that in advance of next time. Reaching over and getting some things over here, so. Okay. So vocabulary on page 45, lesson 10. I'll start us off, but well, Joe, why don't you read that first one there?
Okay. Hamartano, I sin.
Okay. Now, we've already learned hamartia, is that right? I'm not for sure. I'm trying to remember if we have. Hamartia is
the sin, right?
It's sin, yeah. So hamartano. So now we have a verb. Okay, very good. Anoigo. I open. Want to take the third one there?
Gar. 4.
Okay.
Conjunction.
Okay.
Didaskalos. Ha didaskalos. Teacher.
Okay. And that's one of those that if you have Metzger's, you go to a section, you're going to see that this word didaskalos is tied to another verb we haven't learned yet, didomi, to give, but it's also tied to didaskalia, instruction, or k, which is another form of instruction. So we have a number of words that are all part of a word. We have a teaching word family, and then we have the words that it derives from. So I'm just trying to help us make connections in our mind, because I think it helps with vocabulary acquisition. Ekainos, and it could be akaine and akaina, because it's a pronoun. It's a pronoun that. So that one over there, and that one could be feminine or neuter also, depending on the thing that you're referring to. So if you're referring to a woman or a feminine thing like that king there, you'd say akaine.
Evangelia. Hey. It's a promise.
Okay. And that, if you take the first two letters off, the ep preposition, you have angelia, which is an announcement, which is related to another noun. Angelia might be related to our noun. Messenger, angelos, angel or messenger. So this is something that is announced or promised. So again, trying to help us make connections in our vocabulary.
Is that ep like a form of epi?
It is, yeah. Yeah, it's the preposition epi that's been prefixed and has altered then the meaning from more than just an announcement, but a promise. Okay, Peggy.
Ta ergon. Work.
Okay. And there's quite a variety of words related to the word work in the New Testament. So, euangelion. Ta euangelion. Remember when we have two gammas together, like in epangelia just above there, we have the N sound. Okay. And that's gospel or good news.
Okay, ta emation. Emation.
There's
clothing.
There's a rough breathing mark.
The rough there?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, it's hard to see that.
Yeah.
Hemation. Hemation. Ta, hemation, clothing.
Very good. Hasas, hase, hasan would be as much as great as. So it's something that's kind of in a sort of in a sense, a comparative function is a comparative pronoun a little bit.
Oh, me.
Yes.
Hati. Because that may mark the beginning of direct discourse conjunction.
And I think I mentioned that maybe in one of the exercises we did the last week, that hati a lot of times says, and he said that, and you'll have hati and then something that follows, which is exactly what it says there, direct discourse. We had a hati today in one of these sentences. Oh, the last sentence. And that's a direct discourse. Truly, truly, I say to you that the one hearing my word. It was exercise number 20 in the last lesson.
Right. Okay. Utas, aute, tuto. And this is the pronoun, right? For this, for the near.
Right. So up
Near
above,
demonstrative.
yep. So akainos is that one over there, and hutas and haute and tuta are this one right over here. So, and those are, there's some contexts where I've seen that is very helpful, adds a distinction. Tapaidion. What? Paidion, that's right. My wife's emphasizing accent. Tapaidion. Paidion. It's a child. Paidion. I'm still not giving the accent quite right. the child or an infant. And part of ABN is it has to do with a child that is trainable. And how early can you start training a child? Probably actually quite young. I've known, well, let's put it this way. Parents, a lot of have children to some degree trained for some things by the time they're 6 months old. So there's certain things that they're trained. So it's not just a child, but it has the sense of a trainable child.
Would that be like in some of those where we talk about the new believers, right? Is that the child training they're talking about? Do they use that word?
Yeah, and this is used in there's 2 places in 1 John 2 where he talks about children. I'm writing to children. One of them is teknon, and one of them is paideon in there. Okay. And so a lot of commentators just say, well, it's just the same thing. But I think that he's actually adding a different emphasis into the second one. And he may be referring to the same group of people, but the different emphasis added into the second one is saying that there's a trainability here. And I should look at the verse before I speak on it anymore, just to be clear, just because I want to make sure I am saying that they come in the right order. This is, let me see if I can pull that up on my screen here for just a minute. Forget that I can do these kind of things sometimes. Make this larger and let me share.
I should be getting my Metzger today. That Lexical Aids.
Cool. Where is my? For some reason I'm not seeing. Oh, there it is. Okay, so in this case, this is 1 John 2:12. He says, I am writing to you. So we know all that. I am writing humin to you. In teknia, this is plural, to you children. And then we go on down here, 14. I have written, and now we have paideia down here. So he's kind of changing the emphasis, and I don't think he's writing to 2 different groups of people. I think he's writing to the same group of younger believers, and not everybody agrees that these are levels, but I do believe these are levels. There are young believers, there are believers that have grown a little bit more, and there are believers that have really grown, and they all have different things that they can relate to and appreciate. But that paideia in the second hand is, I think he's giving emphasis to the fact you guys are trainable. You guys are learning stuff. And he's going to bring that out in the following context. So anyway, we'll go back to our vocabulary. There we go. Okay, so back to our vocabulary. So that was paideia. Okay. Peggy, next one there.
Stuo.
Stuo.
I believe, have faith.
Okay. Very good. Joe.
Tomos, place. Topos, sorry. Place.
Yeah, and a good way maybe to remember that one is topography.
Topography.
Topography has to do with location and place. Topography. In fact, topography is actually 2 Greek words. It's place, grapho in there. So, and then the last one, hey kara, hey kara, and that's joy. My wife has a niece. Her name is Joy. Joy. We always say when we reference her. Kara Joy. Okay. So that's our vocabulary that we can start working on. And I can't pull that up on here. Let's go ahead and we'll hit the supplemental vocab out our page 74. And I'm going to do something a little bit different here with this. I'm going to share my lesson screen. Oh, I put that away. I'm sorry, I put something away that I didn't want. I got to go over and open it up here again. There we go. Get it open. There we go. Okay. So now we're going to come down here. And I'm going to see if I can. This is going to be kind of crazy trying to do this, but I'm going to see if I can. I am trying to, but it's not coming up for some reason. I'm going to try it one more time. There we go. Okay, I'm going to see if I can at all type these here. Got to switch over to my Greek font. So our first one here, and you will forgive me if I mess this up. And I'm not going to put in the, I'm not going to bother with putting in my, okay.
Exerkomai.
Exerkomai, which would be
I go out of.
I go out. So erkomai is I go, exerkomai, I go out. And I don't know if we've had erkomai yet because we have not yet had, I think that's the next lesson, or present, middle, and passives, which is what erkomai is. Okay. The next one here is
Thuropos.
Whoops. Thuroros.
Thuroros.
Thuroros. It's interesting. They're adding this one, but
Thuroros. Yeah.
And this is built off of our word door. This is our word, that word doorkeeper.
Seriously?
And I'm guessing they're introducing, because we're going to, well, actually in the first exercise, we're going to have the word thuroros. Okay. Next we have.
That would be the same reference to the shepherd and the door through the little area for the sheep, or what?
Yeah, that's what John is about. So then we have hey katara, and I guess I probably should add the so hey, and let me go up here, and this one should be ha. Add that. Katera. Then we have
Pateo. Pateo.
Which is I walk, or I walk around, and that's a word that has both a literal sense as well as a figurative sense of the way we live.
And the peri is the around part, right?
That's right. Yeah, so we sometimes will say, yeah, I walk about, which is kind of where we get that idea of that. And pateo has to do with bread. Okay, so peripateo is then walk about, literally or figuratively.
What is pateo again? You broke up on that?
Oh, pateo. Pateo is to tread or to walk.
To tread, okay.
Yeah. To step. And then ta probaton, which also then is going to go with that first exercise, is sheep, which is one of those that functions oftentimes as collective singular, just as it does in English. And then the last one here is charis. That's grace, the grace. And that is related to our last vocabulary word in the book, which is kara. Charis is a derivative of kara. So, okay. Any questions on those? Okay, well, on Thursday then, we will work on introducing then these demonstrative, near and far demonstrative pronouns and how they work. So, any other questions or comments today?
No. It's all
Okay.
good.
Okay. I don't think we didn't cover too much, mostly vocabulary here at the last part of class. So I'm going to go ahead and end